Good morning and welcome to our Sunday service streaming to you live from Unity Church of the Hills here in Austin, Texas. We'll be starting with our Sunday service in just a moment. But in the meantime, we'd love it if you would take a moment to say hello and let us know where you are watching from so we can connect our hearts with yours. Our Sharing is Caring program continues, and this Sunday, we're supporting an organization called Christian Resource Center. Let me tell you about them. This network of ministries, churches, and individuals is committed to meeting the physical, spiritual, and financial needs of families and bringing them to stability and sustainability. If that speaks to your heart, or you would just like to let people know about Unity Church of the Hills, take a moment to share the Sunday message while we are live, and we'll donate $5 to this organization. Now, before the service starts, I've got a little update from our Legacy Giving team.
The Endowment Fund was established in 2015 to help secure the financial future of our church's mission. Here are the founding contributing members. The Legacy Giving team has been assigned to supervise your endowment fund by the Unity Church of the Hills Board of Directors. There are annual distributions from the gains of the funds for improvements to Unity Church of the Hills. This video shows the projects paid for by those distributions. The improvement to the parking lot lights was the first project. Giving to the fund is above and beyond the normal tithing to the church. A contribution to the community garden was given.
And welcome. Thank you.
Last year's distribution was used to install the ADA accessible doors on the main entrance and the restrooms in the main building. This year's distribution is new lights and carpeting. Installation is in progress. There are many ways to give to the endowment fund. One is when contemplating end-of-the-year giving. Another way is to set up a gift as a part of your end-of-life planning. This will qualify you to become a member of the Arch Society and be recognized for leaving a legacy. You may also choose to make your gift anonymously.
As I think back over the 25 years of Unity Church of the Hills history, I am reminded of the thousands of lives that have been impacted by this ministry. And I'm so grateful for the Unity Church of the Hills Endowment Fund that will help ensure that we're around for generations to come. Thank you for supporting this amazing ministry and for supporting this great fund.
Contact the church office. Go to Unity Church of the Hills website. Speak with a member of the Legacy Giving team or email legacy@unityhills.org. Let the abundance of God flow through you. Thank you.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let heaven and earth receive the King. Let every heart prepare His room. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Sing. Great, great joy. He rules the world with truth and grace and makes all the nations prove the glories of His righteousness and the wonders of His love. Joy to the world, the Lord does reign. Let everyone their songs employ. While fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. Let us sing, let heaven and nature sing a song of great joy.
Good morning, Unity Church of the Hills and Austin, Texas, and whoever and wherever you're watching. We welcome you here this Sunday morning. We're so happy to see you. If you are a first-time viewer, we want you to know that you are welcome here, and we will meet you where you are on the path. We're so excited today to bring you Reverend Dr. Roger Teal, who's been working with us over the past few months as one of our interim ministers, and he's doing his part 2 on abundance. So we're really excited to have him here today. My name is Reverend Eliza Bloom Robinson, and I am your bridge interim minister, which means I'm here while you're walking through your final stages in selecting a new senior minister. So I'm very happy to be here. We have prayer chaplains available. If you would like prayer, you can call the phone number on your screen and leave your name and your phone number, and a prayer chaplain will return your call, I'm assuming right after the service. Our youth and family is meeting primarily virtually via Zoom. Sometimes there's some of them on the patio, but let's take a moment, because that's such a vital part of our ministry, to just bring those kids to our minds, to our hearts, from the littlest ones. We have a couple in the room here today, all the way up through our high school kids and even our next generation. So we just feel the presence of love in and through our youth and family program. You can learn more about that program at unityhills.org on our website. Let's join together in affirming our vision statement. Together, we are an ever-expanding community of love and acceptance where lives are transformed. And we take that statement into an opening prayer. Feel that ever-loving presence, ever-expanding love. Wherever you are in your life today, in this now moment, that presence that is God is with you. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and let go. And let go again. And let go again. And when you let go, you can find that presence and that power that we call God, that is source, that is creation, that is both within us and so much greater than us. It is our intention today as Unity Church of the Hills to be a blessing to you. It is our intention to be blessed as we are blessing, with the awareness of that living Christ presence within. Take one more deep breath in. Feel your heart expanding with love. And we pray in the name and through the power of that living Christ presence that is love itself. Amen. We'll now have the lighting of the Advent candles.
We welcome now our families here in the sanctuary, out on the pavilion, and those of you at home to light the third candle of Advent, the candle of love. We will add the beauty of this flame to that of hope and faith and peace. There is an incredible sense of power and freedom in both giving and receiving love without condition or expectation. The experience can be so profound that we lose track of whether we're the giver or the receiver. That's the beauty of it. We get to plug into the equation from either side. The instant we give love selflessly, we receive a sense of peace, harmony, and fullness. The flip side is, the instant we become willing to receive the infinite love of God, always pouring out upon us, we're compelled to give it back. It's our nature. Love is who we are, and no season can contain it, Sarah Bareilles affirms in her evocative song, Love is Christmas. It's true about each of us and everyone else too. On this day of Advent, we affirm together the following statement: I received love graciously and reflect it to the whole world. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger.
Love is the power behind healing, the catalyst for transformation, and it's the glue in relationships.
Love in 2020 is the opportunity to connect with friends and family that I haven't connected for so long. And because of COVID, we're home. I found the opportunity and the time to just reach out to those that I haven't spoken with for such a long time and share love and joy with them.
The power of love and how it has brought my family together so strongly this 2020, and it's been such a blessing.
As long as I know that I am one with all of creation and that we were created in a beautiful, loving universe, and for that I am grateful.
I think for me, 2020 has been about self-love, in that essence of love that we all are, especially as many of us found ourselves in the place of fear and in the place of uncertainty, of leaning back into that universal Christ love within us and digging deeper and having to lean in harder and to really celebrate and honor the love that is around us in our families and our friends and in the ways that we can connect throughout the year.
I'm loving the thought of a new year in 2021 where it's filled with new possibilities, new opportunities, and more opportunities to love.
This week's Sharing is Caring benefits the Christian Resource Center. For every share while we are live, we'll donate $5 to this organization. Because we are in the Christmas season, we have a number of special events, activities, and services. I'm going to name check them here for you with dates, and then I encourage everyone to stick around after the Going Deeper for our announcement video where you'll get more details. In addition, you can visit unityhills.org/Christmas-2020, and our theme for the Christmas season is Holy Pause, the Power of Simplicity. So Santa's curbside delivery for our youth and family takes place on Saturday, December 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. Our blessing tree continues. Gifts for family elder care are due back this Tuesday, and the remainder of the gifts are due on Sunday, December 20th. You can also contribute online at unityhills.org/blessings2020. The deadline to sponsor an individual or family within our community for Christmas is this Friday, December 18th. You can learn more at unityhills.org/blessings2020. And next Sunday, you will want to put on your Christmas PJs, grab a hot chocolate, and snuggle in to watch the UCOH 2020 Christmas Holiday Extravaganza. The theme this year is We Most Definitely Need a Little Christmas. And it all begins at 5:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or unityhills.org.
We have 2 services on Christmas Eve. The kid-friendly service will be live streamed only and begins at 5 p.m. You can help us bring joy to the world with a special happy dance montage video. Record 10 to 30 seconds of doing a happy dance and send it to communications@unityhills.org. Our traditional Christmas Eve service with Reverend Eliza and celebration begins at 7 p.m. In addition to being live streamed, the sanctuary is open to 25 congregants, and you will need to RSVP in advance. Our New Year's Eve World Healing Day meditation begins at 6 a.m. on Zoom. And that is the oh wait, I forgot the Burning Bowl service. I do have the Burning Bowl slide. Sorry guys, somehow I missed it in my announcements. The Burning Bowl ceremony will be outside at 5:30 p.m. and we'll do a fire pit, and everyone is we can accommodate 25 outside. It will be live streamed, and then we'll be open for you to drive by from 6 to 7 to release 2020. Can I get an amen on that? All right, so that is it for the high-level overview. Do stick around for the full announcement video after our going deeper. But for now, I invite you to settle in and relax as Reverend Eliza leads us in meditation.
I invite you to close your outer eyes and take another deep breath in. Feeling the power of all of the things that are going on this holiday season, not only here at Unity Church of the Hills, but in your own lives and in our world. We take a few moments in our time of meditation to shift our awareness from the outer to the inner. To become aware of the very breath we breathe. Feel the air entering your body on the inhale. Feel the exhale and the release of all that no longer serves. Inhale and receive. Exhale and release. Inhale. Receive this time the presence of love through that air that you breathe. Exhale, release any and all things that are unlike love. Receiving love, releasing. As you continue to focus on your breathing, become aware of this very powerful law of circulation. All that you need is given freely to you as you release all that is no longer needed. You might imagine the ocean and the tide as the waves come in and the waves go out. There's the moment to moment, breath to breath circulation of receiving and releasing. There's a circulation of the tides all of life is a flow of circulation. Opening, expanding, receiving. Releasing, exhaling, coming back to stillness. Opening, receiving love and peace and joy. Take one more deep breath in as we close this time of meditation and open to receive. And so it is. Amen.
Chase away all the night. It's my desire to walk in your way. Come fill my heart, fill every part. Come fill my heart today. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. Little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. The stars in the sky looked down where he lay. Little Lord Jesus, asleep on the hay. Come fill my heart today. Come fill my heart with your love and your light. Come fill my heart, chase away all the night. It's my desire to walk in your way. Come fill my heart, fill every part. Come fill my heart today. It's my desire to walk in your way. Come fill my heart, fill every part. Come fill my heart, fill every part. Come fill my heart today.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Roger Teal, and I'm absolutely delighted to be sharing with you again this Sunday with part 2 of a series called The Art of Abundance, a series sharing the proposition that unlimited abundance is available for you and me just outside the current limits of our believing. and we can expand into this abundance. Last week, we talked about the essential ingredient, an abundance consciousness. And I remind you that abundance is the infinite life and potential, ideas and givingness of God everywhere present. Prosperity is our potential to express that abundance. And that potential is limited only by our consciousness. So you live in the field of infinite abundance. Your prosperity is how much of that abundance is permitted to flow into expression through your consciousness. And your consciousness is the sum total of everything that you have come to believe and accept about your life. So our great work is to enrich and to expand and empower our consciousness of the truth of abundance, and thereby see our prosperity grow and grow. And we gave some tips last week to start this journey, and we'll do more of that this day. And so part 2, if last week was the essential ingredient, part 2 is the essential practice. And all by way of establishing this cute little story for you. A lady was on her way to get her hair cut by her stylist, and she happened to mention her upcoming trip to Rome. And the hairstylist said, "Rome? Why would you want to go there? I've been there. It's crowded. It's dirty. You're crazy to go to Rome. How are you going to get there?" And the lady said, we're flying Delta Airlines. We got a great rate. And the hairdresser, "Oh, Delta. Oh my God, that's a terrible airline. Their planes are old. Their flight attendants are unfriendly. The food's bad, and they're always late. So where are you going to stay in Rome?" And she said to him, oh, in this beautiful little place called the Torrento. It's exclusive. And the hairdresser said, "Oh my God, I know that place. It's a dump. Tiny rooms, no service. So what do you think you're going to be doing in Rome?" And the lady said, "Well, among other things, we're going to visit the Vatican, and we hope to see the Pope." And the hairdresser said, "Well, fat chance of that. He's going to be this little speck up on a balcony. Boy, good luck on this trip. You're really going to need it." Well, about 6 weeks, the lady went in to get another style on her hair, and she began sharing about how wonderful the trip was with that same hairdresser. She shared how the flight was overbooked and they got bumped up to first class on a brand new plane, great food, great service, how the hotel had undergone a many $million-dollar renovation and it had overbooked, and so they got put in the president's suite, and it was just a great trip. And the hairdresser said, well, I bet you didn't get to see the Pope." And the lady said, "Well, actually, we toured the Vatican, and at one point, some members of the Swiss Guard came up to us and explained that the Pope greeted a few visitors every day, and we were escorted right before the Pope. And he asked me to hold his hand, and I did, and then he whispered a few words in my ear." And the hairdresser said, "Really? What did he whisper?" And the lady said, "He said, 'Where'd you get that crummy hairdo?'" I love that story because really what it says is what we put out, we get back. As we give into life, so do we receive in this life. And so this really brings us to the essential practice, which is staying in the flow. To expand our abundance consciousness, we must stay in the flow. This universe is a vast flowing of energies, always exchanging one energy form for another. It's the cosmic dance of giving and receiving. And we call it in New Thought teachings, the universal law of circulation. And you can see that at all levels of life. First of all, the lungs, there's the inhale and then the exhale. That's the receiving and the giving forth. The heart, there's the diastole and the systole, that giving and receiving. Plants, they receive the nutrients of the soil and the light of the sun and the moisture, and they give forth their fruition of one kind or another. The trees, they take in CO2 and they give out oxygen. Moisture is absorbed by the clouds and it gives forth rain. At every level of nature, we see this giving and receiving, and we can see it in so many ways that we understand more and more that life is a circulation of energies. And if we are to have an abundance consciousness, we must become masterful at consciously and deliberately and joyfully circulating these energies. So the prosperity we seek in our lives first depends on an abundance consciousness. And then secondly, to the degree to which we consciously allow energy to pass into and through our lives. In a way, we must prove to the universe that we're capable of having what we desire by developing a consciousness that affirms that there's no shortage of what we seek. And then to do this, we have to create a vacuum or a space for what we seek to receive. And the way to do this is to first give forth, to let go, to initiate, to give of what we do have into this life system. And so if we're truly aware of the abundance of the universe, then we'll be comfortably open to not only receiving more, but out of that receiving, to share and to give. And thus, for abundance to flow into our lives, we must also allow it to freely flow out of our lives. And we sense that it's not the depletion of our good, it's the working with these energies such that we are consciously giving and receiving of the good that we seek in this life. Deepak Chopra put it this way: nothing is static, because your body and your mind and the universe are in constant and dynamic exchange. Stopping the circulation of energy is like stopping the flow of blood. Whenever blood stops flowing, it begins to clot, to coagulate, to stagnate. That is why you must give and receive in order to keep wealth and affluence, or anything you want in your life, to keep it increasing in your experience, the giving and the receiving. So the law of circulation then is an omnipresent principle in this life, and we cannot avoid it, and we can actually embrace it with great heart, because you see, you are an energy conduit, and you got to keep that conduit open. And what keeps us from enjoying greater affluence is a fear that causes constriction of that energy conduit, that crimps the conduit of our consciousness and our givingness. Now, Jesus articulated this law. He said, "Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall it be given unto you." So participating in this flow with that kind of enthusiasm increases good in our life. In the Hebrew scriptures, in Proverbs, it says, "One man gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give and only suffers want." And in the teachings of Lao Tzu, in the Tao, he who obtains has little. He who scatters has much, much. So we begin to understand that fear pushes against the flow, the natural flow of life, and that this is what fosters suffering. It fosters limitation. The pipeline becomes clogged, and we can unclog that in our lives. And we do this by, we don't dwell on onlyness. We start the giving flow. And this is in every area of life. For instance, to prosper in love. You can't be a wallflower waiting for the world to rush up to you and hug you. Instead, you and I, if love's what we're about, we have to initiate an expressiveness and exude a spirit of love. And giving love, you're open then to the receiving of love. Some might say, well, I don't have any friends. Well, that's your fault. You don't get friends. We make friends. And this means an expressiveness, a sharing, a giving to. Many people have money hang-ups. And they say, well, some would say, I'm having an out of money experience. And many replicate that kind of an experience in their life. But those who are fearful and stingy with money are stuck in fear and concepts of limitation. Now, money didn't cause this. Thinking did. You see, people who hoard money are actually out of sync with life. They're out of sync with life and the joy of living. And life, you see, is this giving miracle within us and all around us. And people who are insecure about their economic future are insecure, period. And money grows when it's put into good use and shared. Businesses. Some might say, I wish my business were more prosperous. Well, there's no way that business will become more prosperous until that person becomes a prospering person. And this means being expressive. It means learning, having enthusiasm, and giving of time and interest and concern and energy and effort. And as long as they just sit in their office and worry, there's no way the business is going to prosper. Many want to prosper as parents, but that prospering can't be tied to the behavior of the kids, but on the degree of prosperity that the parents express, meaning the degree to which they're giving of their time and their interest, their concern, their communication, their affection. Marriages, I know of many marriages that are bankrupt. They're bankrupt because they're happening between two impoverished people, impoverished verbally, emotionally, physically. They do not give to each other, so the marriage becomes bankrupt at a causative level. So we've got to open up and reinvigorate and give. Success. It really doesn't depend on what we get, but on what we give of ourselves and of our substance. How much we give of our love and our interest, our concern, our joy, our resources, our money, our laughter, our participation. You see, to prosper, we must be growing and giving people, giving in thought, in consciousness, in service, in enthusiasm, in creativity, in commerce. And you put that all together into a package of magnificent expression, and you have a prosperous person. And such persons will never want for any good in their lives, never. So here's some keys to entering into the flow. And remember that word flow, F-L-O-W, those first letters, those letters will help us understand these concepts, the first letters of each and every key. And the first is giving freely. Enter into the flow freely, without strings attached, with no manipulating or demanding anything in return. It has to be a free expression of your heart. And the law of circulation will take care of the blessings that return to you. And we don't give to get. We give because it is our nature. It's like we return to that child within who loves to give. Remember when you were a child and you just loved to give? Maybe you found a rock out in the yard or a stick or a flower, and you couldn't wait to find someone to give it to, because that's naturally who we are. And so to give freely, not demanding or wanting or seeking to get, but because it's our nature and it's born of that true nature. As it says in the Bible, freely ye have received, freely give. In a wonderful metaphysical book called the I Am Discourses, it is written, the children of God have forgotten their own divinity and must come back to it again. God is the giver, the receiver, and the gift, and is the sole owner of all the intelligence, substance, energy, and opulence there is in the universe. If the children of God would learn to give for the joy of giving, whether it be love, money, service, or whatever it may be, they would open the door to such vast opulence that it would be impossible to want for a single thing in outer expression. I invite you to pause and reflect upon a greater degree of givingness, a masterful consciousness of working with the energies of the universe, giving forth and receiving openly and joyously, and then giving more and receiving more. And what we find is that all of the master teachers tell us that life thrills and expands through that kind of action and consciousness, and it is multiplied. So give freely with no strings from that giving nature of the child of God that you are. And then secondly, the L of flow, as we enter the flow, is lovingly. Give freely, and yes, give lovingly. It's giving from your heart with joy and with love. Again, that child within that just absolutely loves to give, and to give from that place. We're entering into the Christmas season. It's Advent now, and very shortly it will be Christmas time. And I've always been moved by this incident. A lady had a husband named Mike who really disliked Christmas, not because of its true message, but because of the commercialism, the overspending, the frantic running around, the gifts given not freely, but in desperation or obligation. And so one Christmas, this lady did something for her husband, Mike. Her son, Kevin, 12 years old, wrestled at a junior high level. And at a non-league match against a team, they wrestled against a team that was sponsored by an inner city church. And these African-American children, these kids, wore ragged uniforms and sneakers, and they actually wrestled without headgear. It was a luxury that they couldn't afford. And her son's team walloped them. The inner city kids, they didn't stand a chance. And she writes, Mike, seated beside me, shook his head sadly. I wish just one of them could have won. They have a lot of potential, but losing like this could take the heart right out of them. Mike loved kids, having coached Little League football, baseball, and lacrosse. That's when the idea for his present came to me. That afternoon, I went to a local sporting goods store and bought an assortment of wrestling headgear and shoes and sent them anonymously to that inner city church. On Christmas Eve, I placed an envelope on the tree, the note inside telling Mike what I had done and that this was his gift from me. His smile was the brightest thing about Christmas that year and in succeeding years. For each Christmas, we followed the tradition, one year sending a group of mentally challenged youngsters to a hockey game. Another year, a check to a pair of elderly brothers whose home had burned to the ground the week before Christmas, and on and on. The white envelope became the highlight of our Christmas. It was always the last thing opened on Christmas morning, and our children would halt playing with their new toys and would stand with wide-eyed anticipation as their dad lifted the envelope from the tree to reveal its contents. I love it. However, the story doesn't end there. You see, we lost Mike last year to dreaded cancer. When Christmas rolled around, I was still so wrapped in grief that I barely got the tree up. But Christmas Eve found me placing an envelope on the tree. And by morning, 3 more had joined it. Each of our children, unbeknownst to me, had placed an envelope on the tree for their dad. Their own acts of compassion and givingness in loving memory of their father who had searched for and found the real essence of Christmas. The tradition has grown and will expand even further with our grandchildren standing around the tree with wide-eyed anticipation, watching as the envelopes are taken down and the joy and compassion of Christmas are unleashed. Giving lovingly from the heart makes it all matter, especially this Christmas time, especially this Christmas when we continue to reel from the restraints and the constrictions of the virus situation, but that doesn't constrict our hearts. And may you not only give freely, but may you tap into that love and give lovingly. Give lovingly. And then also give ongoingly. You know, you don't want your good in life to be temporary, to be haphazard, occasional. So our giving must be as consistent as we want to see the growth of our lives and the growth of our consciousness. So I invite you to partner with God in every area of your life and give, and especially in your money life. Give continuously so that you have a flow that grows. I have been a tither for about 48 years. I started in my second year in seminary, and I have given constantly, never ending throughout those entire years. When I got married, I shared that with my wife. I said, hey, I tithe. I hope you're okay with that. And she loved it. And now every week, month in, month out, year in, year out, we tithe. And I have seen my life on an upward ramp of growth in prosperity continually over those many decades. Now, there have been fluctuations, ups and downs of my income and my good over those times, but the tithing put me on an upward ramp of growth such that a current low was higher than a former high because I kept myself consistently in the flow. So I invite you, especially in your money life, so that you have enough to receive and to share. Start a giving practice, choose a percent. I dived in at 10% of tithing, and that was a minimum because I also gave other gifts. But that you may not be ready for that. But start with a percentage and start giving of that, and know and make a commitment that when that becomes very, very easy, you'll stretch and you'll continue to give. And you'll see that as you do that, you're calling in greater and greater good in your life. You'll find that the 90% goes further than the former 100% or whatever the percentage is. And you'll feel in sync with the universe. You'll feel in sync. And you'll always know that you're drawing from this abundance, which is represented by a solid consciousness of abundance through your giving. And then finally, give ongoingly and give wisely. I think it's important to give to that which is uplifting the light. That's why in the Bible it suggests that we give to the source of our spiritual food. In a way, that's our best way to give back to God, which is the giver of everything. You see, you didn't create your life. I didn't create my life. I can't even breathe my life. It happens, thank God. I can't pump my heart. All of this is the aspect of the givingness of God. We're given this beautiful planet. We're given the people to love. We're given conscious awareness and a spiritual identity in which we can become co-creators with God, God's in miniature. We're given so much, and so often we focus on limitation. So bless everything you have in every area of your life, and then give wisely of everything that you have and everything that you are. And I invite you in this Christmas time to remember Unity Church of the Hills. I have such great affection and respect for this fantastic ministry. And it requires our stewardship, meaning we don't take it lightly or for granted, but that we give regularly and lovingly and powerfully, because the light of this ministry is incredible. And there'll come that time in the months ahead when this community can come back together in person, and it's going to be so joyous. And up until that time, it's so important to keep this ministry strong, so that it can be prepared to call in its new minister. And all of that is unfolding now, so that we're ready to call in that new minister and bless them with a solid foundation upon which this minister and their leadership and you can all march together into a brand new chapter. So remember, especially at this time of year-end giving and Christmas, remember your precious spiritual community, Unity Church of the Hills. Give greatly. And know that that's just the overture to a life of greatness by entering into and staying in the flow. I bless you in this. I wish for you the most abundant Christmas, the one where life energies are flowing powerfully through you, where you're loving and giving and serving, and where you've established a new spiritual practice of ongoing giving, and where your wisdom is giving to that which is shining the light, as you also give wisely and lovingly to the beloveds in your own experience. I just know that this is a powerful time to really live in the truth, no matter what the conditions around us, because the truth shall not only set us free, but the truth shall absolutely prosper us, one and all. I wish you a wonderful Christmas and a tremendous breakthrough new year. Let's have a moment of prayer together. Oh, infinite Spirit of divine life, how wonderful it is to awaken to the givingness of life itself and to open in faith and in trust and in spiritual clarity to the flow of that which is the Spirit in us, through us, as us, and for us. As we know our presence living within the one life, as we know that it is done unto us as we believe, as we know that the abundance of the universe is pressing against us, seeking to flow through and for us, then we move forward now, opening our hearts and sharing of our good and giving thanks for the magnificence and the miracle of life in us and all around us. And I affirm and know that as we accept this, that the mark of success and abundance is upon each and every one of us. And we go forth dynamically into greater and greater good. For it is the will of our source that we prosper, that we share, and that we lift up life together. We say, thank you, God, for this mandate, for this opportunity, and for all the good that is ours. And we let it be so. And so it is. Amen.
We say thank you, Roger. Wasn't that beautiful? Yeah, he's so great. I actually, when I was listening to him, I was trying to text him and say, thank you for your presence here, but I couldn't find his number. So anyway, I was paying attention to Roger, 100%, that's for sure. So before we move into our time I'm offering, I just want to plant a seed. In January, on Monday evening, starting January 18th, we're going to be teaching a Prosperity Plus class. It is a commitment class. It has a component of tithing in it, but it's also a vision class. Like, what would you love your life to look like in 3 years? What would we love this ministry to look like in 3 years? So lots of information will be coming about that, but just planting a seed. And we would love to have everybody join us. It is virtual, so you can join from wherever you are. So as we move into our time in our service where we have the opportunity to give, we have lots of ways to give. And we give to show our support, not only for this ministry, but for Spirit, as Roger so beautifully invited us to give generously to this ministry. But in the practice of giving, we're also opening to receive. And we have lots of ways to give. It's on your screen. You can text UCOH to 77977. You can use online, the web, or Facebook. I've used Facebook now. And there's an app, UCOH app. I did that this morning. I thought, I don't know anything about the app. I figured it out. If I can do it, you can do it. You can also mail a check or bring one in. So let's together speak our offering affirmation statement. Together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful. Thank you, God.
sings praises to the Son of the ages. All the earth sings praise. The trees and the fields lift up their worship to God.
Oh, the mountains and the seas shout a jubilant song.
Creator of all that has been has come now to dwell amongst men. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the hope of the ages. All the earth sings praise. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the Son of the ages. All the earth sings praise. The rivers and streams sing out the call to redeem.
The heavens are filled with a glorious light,
Rejoicing and singing along. Creator has restored the song. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the hope of the ages. All the earth sings praise. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the Son of the ages. All the earth sings praise. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the hope of the ages. All the earth sings praise. All the earth sings praises. All the earth sings praises to the hope of the ages. All the earth sings praise to the Son of the ages. All the earth sings praise.
So actually, Celebration, if you guys wouldn't mind, the oldest member of our congregation, AJ Elliott, turns 94 on Tuesday. So I would love it if y'all would come out and help us sing AJ happy birthday. I know he's watching from home. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear AJ. Happy birthday to you. We love you, AJ. Happy birthday. Thank you guys so much. So following our prayer for protection, Reverend Eliza and I will be going deeper into Dr. Teal's message. So if you guys have any questions for us, get those queued up. But for now, Reverend Eliza, would you close us out with the prayer for protection?
Yes, will you join us? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go forth and have a blessed week.
Okay. Are we on?
The lights
I think
off.
we're
I think
on.
we're
The
on.
lights are off.
Hello,
So we're going to,
everybody.
hey, everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So I thought maybe a great place to start, Reverend Eliza, would be some of your favorite tools for staying in the flow. Is that a good place to kind of get us kicked off?
Absolutely, because Roger's talk was really about flow, right?
Right.
Okay, so a couple of simple and easy ways to stay in the flow. If you think about a river,
Yeah.
staying in the flow is about staying in the center
Okay.
of the river.
Right.
As
Makes
opposed
sense.
to being at the edges where there's rocks and there's branches and there's debris and there's all the obstacles.
Yeah.
So it's really about getting centered, staying centered.
Yeah. So breath work, I would think, is one way to do that.
Breath work,
Meditation.
meditation. One of my favorites, you've heard me say it many times already in the few weeks I've known you. Feel your feet.
Yeah, everybody, feel your
feet. If you put your feet on the ground and you feel the bottoms of your feet on the ground, it brings you out of your monkey mind into the present moment.
Yeah.
I've been teaching my sister this, you know, she's had quite the year, and she'd be like, I know, feel my feet. I'm like, no, really, like,
No, actually do it.
like actually do it. She's like, oh, that feels better.
Yeah.
I know. She's on the beach of Hawaii this morning, so I will shout out for my sister who's visiting her son.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
How
I'm sure she's
fun.
got her feet in the ocean. Well, it might be early there
That's
yet.
a place
but,
to feel your feet, man. I wish
right?
my feet were in the ocean right now.
Right? Another simple tip is to just simply pivot. Like just simply like notice that you're out of the flow. Notice it and then literally turn your body and look up.
Oh, right. The kinesthetic sort of.
It's a kinesthetic. It's so
that.
powerful. So feel your feet and look up. The thing about looking up, it's a, I don't know if it's a mudra exactly, but it is a powerful tool that opens up this whole area biologically and neurologically. It changes everything.
Yeah, it really
Just look
does.
up.
Yeah.
But you've got to stop the monkey mind thinking at the same
Yeah.
time, because if you just are looking up and in that same loop, it doesn't do that much good.
Yeah, get in your body first.
Feel
then
your feet,
look up.
pivot, choose again. What can you see?
Yeah. Well, and I know you're going to talk about it on the 20th, but on the 21st, everybody will hopefully want to be outside looking up at what they're calling the Star of Bethlehem.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm so excited about that.
I know. Astrologically, astronomically, spiritually, consciousness-wise, all kinds of things. Those Jupiter and Saturn are going to be closer together and more visible than in 400 years.
Right, and they're going to look like one star in the sky. I know we are so off topic, guys, but I just think it's the coolest thing. So, and I know you're going to talk about it next Sunday.
So we just created that as a teaser for next
we
week,
did,
right?
Look at us. Okay, I do have a question here, so let me just go for it. Can you talk about the threshold of abundance and escaping the gravity of long-standing generational consciousness of lack? So it's sort of like undoing that ancestral lack.
That's a
Thoughts?
great
That's
question.
A great question.
That's a great question. Yeah, so the threshold is exactly that. And Roger said today something about your abundance is beyond what you already know. Like
Right.
there is a threshold. So in consciousness, we have the subconscious, which is like 95% or 99%, depending on your science.
Right.
And so in the subconscious lies our lack, our limitation, our ancestral, our race, our I don't mean race like ethnic race, but our
Right.
cosmic consciousness, and all of the stories of our ancestors,
Right.
whatever that may be. And that if we don't pay attention to that, if we don't acknowledge what's already there, we'll never get past it.
Right.
So it is really about becoming aware of what your pattern is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where it doesn't matter if you're making $100 a month or $100 million a month. We all have it. There's
Yeah.
always an edge. Now, certainly if you're making $100 a month, there's all the survival things that get played up in there too.
Right.
Once you have money, money's not important, as important.
Right.
But the consciousness that keeps us in lack and limitation is easily changeable with a few couple steps. So, well, simple but not easy.
Right. Well, and it begins with awareness, for sure.
It begins with awareness, because when you notice, like maybe something shows up, an unexpected bill, right? And you're like, "Wah!" You know, our bodies do that. Right? Then you notice, and then you look, and you go, okay, what's underneath that? It's like, oh, I have a tremendous fear. It's like, okay, well, what's underneath that? What's underneath that? And you can dig through to get to a core consciousness, a core belief, if you will, or patterning.
Yeah.
And then once you've seen it, you can choose again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I see that that's been true up until now.
Right.
Now I choose a better truth, a greater truth. I am a child of the universe, and the universe is abundant.
Right.
And then you can begin to gather evidence for that.
Nice. Well, and I know, like Kay Christopher, who's a member of our congregation, teaches EFT and tapping, which is one way to kind of undo some of those. And I see that Dr. Raz, hello, Dr. Raz is watching, and I know he's going to eventually, I'm connecting with you, Dr. Raz, put together an inner child class for us, and even probably I would imagine, and maybe this is a place for you to talk a little bit more about the Prosperity Plus 3 class, but I would imagine even that is going to get into some of those unconscious stories and how to undo them.
It is a little bit, and in my work, I do the subconscious healing, the repatterning, where it's quickly, gently, and easily, boom, done.
Right.
Boom, done.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's really fabulous. And the Prosperity Plus 3 we're doing is really about, so there's two ways you can go about it, really. Well, many more than two.
Right,
but
sure.
Two general. You can either dig out the unconscious and make space for the new, or you can implant the new that then transcends the subconscious. So in the Prosperity Plus 3, we will look at some of the unconscious.
Right.
And the foundation of that is really, what would you love in 3 years from now?
Oh, yeah.
And some people are like, I don't have any dreams. I don't have any goals. It's like, well, you know you would love health, right? Let's start there.
Let's start there.
You know you would love to be able to live freely. You know you would love to be in good relationship with whoever you're in relationship with. So we start there.
Yeah.
But we were going to do that also in that class for the ministry.
Oh, right. Yeah. You want to tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what would we love for Unity Church of the Hills to look like, feel like, be like 3 years from now? So you think 3 years from now, we'll be going into 2024?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's so wild.
That's so wild. So what do we want this place to feel like? And we're really focusing on qualities more than specifics.
Yeah.
right? I mean, we use specifics to help envision it, but really what we want to do is to feel it.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine maybe that this place is filled to capacity again.
Yeah.
Maybe we have 3 full services. Plus, maybe we're reaching millions online. I mean, maybe we've become a global ministry. And maybe we're a safe place of oneness for all people.
Yes.
And maybe there's something that's risen up in this time that goes, that's our stand. That's why we're here.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe
yes.
we can fill this room with the kids that come in.
Yes.
During the peace song. Or maybe we don't have the peace song anymore because there's something brand new different.
Right.
Right? Or maybe.
I love that.
Or what if?
Right.
Yeah.
What if upping it, as Mindy Odlin says? I love that.
Yeah.
It's like I can feel, I hope you all at home can feel just the energy of being in those questions and that what ifs and the what ifs and what ifs. I love that.
And
Thank
in that
you.
course, we'll be giving lots of tools and tips and principles to really activate that. And practices too. It is a commitment course. There is homework.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited about the class, and we will have the registration info coming up soon. So getting back, you know, he talked a lot
Roger.
about the giving and receiving, you know, being in the law of circulation. And so I didn't know if there was anything on that, like maybe you might touch on just a little bit some of your own sort of experience in the practice of tithing or giving and how that's shown up in your life was one question I had. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in. Or if there was anything in particular on his message that you want to touch on.
Yeah, let me speak to my tithing practice.
Okay, I think that'd be good.
So I started my tithing practice when my daughter was an infant. She'll be 36.
Wow.
So I don't have quite as many years as Roger, but I don't have quite as many years as Roger anyway. So,
yeah.
You know, probably about that same amount of time, right?
Right.
And I had come into a class. It was a Center for Spiritual Living, religious science at that time.
Yeah.
And they were teaching a prosperity class, and of course, tithing was part of it. Well, at that time, I had one child, an infant. I was married, and we had no money. I mean, we were just constantly broke. We never had any money. I mean, we just didn't have any money. We were kids, you know, 23 or something, and hadn't really figured that out. And I came home from this class and I said, we need to do this. And my husband's like, how are we going to do that? We have no money at the end of the month. It's like, but that's the change.
Yeah.
It's you do it first. And so I didn't start with 10%. I started with like 2 for like a month. And then I went to 5, and then I went to 7, and then I went to 10. But now it's been 35 years of tithing as a regular practice. And what that does is it says to the universe, I'm in the flow of circulation.
Yeah.
And so, like Mary Morrissey will teach, she's like, it's not about giving the last 10%. It is about giving the first 10, but it's not even so much about that. It's like, what are you going to do with the 90% you get to keep?
Yeah.
Isn't that, doesn't that pivot it nice?
Yeah, it
It's
does,
like, I pay my taxes and I, pay my health insurance and my car insurance.
Sure.
But what if I put tithing as the most important thing? The giving to the universe.
Right.
The giving to Spirit, Source, God that says, I trust.
Right.
And in those early days of tithing, and then when I got divorced and I was a single mom with 2 kids and I was living on nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I still tithed. I was on government assistance. I was on food stamps. And I still tithed.
Wow.
And now I live a life of amazing blessings.
Yeah.
And I know that it all started. That's not the only thing.
Sure, of course
But
not.
it is that consistent practice.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to speak to, and he mentioned it sort of, but we used to teach tithing really to the source of your spiritual good, and that's fabulous, absolutely.
Yes.
But we also want to be careful that we're not tithing to a place of lack. Meaning, we want to tithe to that which we want more of. So let's do a juxtaposition here.
Okay.
So I can tithe to a organization because I think they need the money.
Right.
because, you know, it is COVID and all the reasons. But can you feel how that energy is kind of flat? It's like, well, yeah, it's giving, but what if I just pivot my own awareness and go, you know what, I'm tithing because I see the future of this place.
Yeah.
I see this place reaching and impacting the city of Austin and the state of Texas and beyond. That lights me up. I
Right.
give to that which lights me up,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we want to be really conscious of giving to what we want more of,
Absolutely.
not
Yeah,
giving
that's a
to what we
great
want, what we
point.
don't want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question. The question is asked to speak to prosperity and abundance in other areas beyond just money.
Yeah, great.
Which I think is a great sort of segue in, because, you know, kind of one of the things that I thought about is I know that over this last year, it's been challenging for a lot of people to keep their heart open. And, you know, Roger talked about how you've got to be giving love to get more love. And, you know, a lot of people are at home, you know, how do they make friends in the middle of all this? And so, anyways, I just thought maybe you could kind of touch on some heart opening. You know, how do we do that when, you know, our minds and our bodies want to just sort of shut it all out and kind of, you know, protect? But we're called to open up.
We're called to open. I mean, isn't that, I mean, I think that's one of the greatest callings in this pandemic is to not contract, even as we're going in, even as we're hibernating, even as we're having a season of winter, so to speak. But to go to the first part of that question, in the Prosperity Plus class, we really look at 4 different areas of abundance, and the first one is health.
Yeah.
You know, when we have an abundance of health, everything flows better. The second one is relationship. And it is about being in that love, in that flow of the love. The third is vocation. What would you love to be doing? And that is maybe different than your job, right? But your vocation, that which is within you, that is what yours to give to the universe.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is the way we phrase it in this work is time and money freedom.
Oh, I like that.
Doesn't that feel nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really
So
nice.
then the second part of your question is the how. And we just get to do kind of what we said earlier. We get to interrupt the patterns.
Yeah.
We get to notice what
Pivot.
we notice. If you're down, reach out. I know you want people to reach out to you, but if they're not, then you get to be the one to give it.
Yeah.
You get to be the one. You know what they say, you know, if people are struggling with depression, and one of the best ways out of that is to go be in service.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want to. Even,
Yeah.
especially when you don't want to.
Right.
You know, so it is giving that which you desire.
Yeah.
Giving opens the flow to receiving.
Yeah.
It really does.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts that you have for everybody?
The law of circulation works. It is a law like gravity is a law.
Yeah.
It is absolutely every single aspect of your life can be tied into the law of circulation. So practice it with your breath. Practice it with a flow, with a body movement flow.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you've called
Nia
us all to
dance.
do Nia dance, but you've called us all to do a joy dance.
Oh yeah, everybody.
A happy dance.
from home.
Happy dance from
Videotape
home.
it, send it in. That's a way to pattern interrupt.
It is totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. You know, a Facebook message or a phone call or a text or a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Or a FaceTime call.
Right.
You know, Christmas is a hard time for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
be the one that's giving and you will indeed receive.
Yeah, and if you don't know who to call Silent Unity. Just connect with those guys over there is another place, you know, to kind of, if you can't think of someone to call, to offer, you can at least call Silent Unity to receive.
Call
right?
to receive, absolutely.
Yeah, which is good. It's a
Yeah.
step.
It's a
so,
step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, stick around for the announcement video. We do have some amazing things planned for Christmas and for New Year's Eve, so we want you to know all about them. and we wish you an absolutely joyful, beautiful day. Much love.
Much love. Bye, everyone.
Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. Can I get a round of Santa Claus?
That's right. With Christmas comes Santa and his favorite elf. Children are invited to come to the Front Circle Drive to meet them on Saturday, December 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. to receive their Christmas gift bags this year.
Santa and his favorite elves, I'm told there may be more than one, will be sitting outside the front entrance on Saturday, December 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. They'll decide to deliver a gift bag to the car for each child. Selfies with Santa and his favorite elf in the background can be taken, or if you want to get out of the car and pose with your entire family while Santa and his elf or elves stand or sit socially distanced behind you. We look forward to seeing your smiling faces on Saturday, December 19th. And ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
You can serve as one of Santa's elves this year by supporting the annual Blessing Tree. Together, we helped 16 families moving out of homelessness through the great work of Families in Transition.
Gifts for family elder care are due back on December 15th, and we're accepting gifts for Foster Village and our own UCOH Benevolence Fund through Sunday, December 20th.
If you can't come by the church, you can donate online and we'll do the shopping for you. You can find out more at unityhills.org/blessings2020.
In addition to the cards on the tree, Foster Village has an Amazon wish list, and that link can also be found on our Blessings 2020 page.
Speaking of Amazon, if you haven't signed up for Amazon Smile, it's a simple way to support your spiritual home. The instructions are in the description of this video.
If you would like to sponsor an individual or family within our own community and brighten up their Christmas, we ask that you register online before Friday, December 18th, so we have time to match up recipients with sponsors. Sponsorship can mean anything from monetary support to meals to gifts.
If you or someone you know within the church could use a little holiday assistance, please let us know right away. You can call the church office at 512-335-4449, email communications@unityhills.org, or complete the form online.
And it's not too late to purchase a lap quilt, a great holiday gift, and gift anytime really, but it's the holidays, so what a great chance to make this holiday choice a gift, to buy a lap quilt for someone that you know. They are lovingly made by the mother of Ucoh, Joan Howes, and right now there's a 25% off discount. The sale, which is a fundraiser for our Youth of Unity, or our YOU, continues through Christmas Eve. I almost said Quiltmas Eve. You got to get cozy on Christmas, right? Quilt waiting, and visit unityhills.org/quilt, or visit our bookstore today.
As we mentioned, Christmas is getting close.
But the 2020 Holiday Extravaganza is even closer.
Yes, it's on Sunday, December 20th at 5:30 in the afternoon.
So how are they doing it this year?
Well, everyone is encouraged to put on your Christmas PJs.
I heard even the crew will be in pajamas.
Make yourself your favorite hot Christmas drink.
Hot chocolate, lots of marshmallows.
A hot apple cider for me.
Well, hot toddy for us adults.
Snuggle up with your sweetheart.
With a quilt.
Two-legged or four-legged.
A stuffed animal would work too.
And join in on the fun.
You can watch on Facebook, YouTube, and unityhills.org.
There will be music and stories.
And I'll bet there'll be some comedy as well.
And I heard that there are going to be some giveaways during the show too.
And you get to enjoy it all in the comfort of your own home.
Because with all that's going on this year,
we most definitely need a little Christmas.
Right this very minute.
Oh, and it's on Sunday, December the 20th at 5:30 p.m.
Many years ago, we recorded 2 songs at Unity Church of the Hills that we've designed as Christmas e-cards for folks to send. The Unity music team gets paid for every e-card sent.
These are great coronavirus-free Christmas cards you can send to others for just $1.99 each and scheduled to appear in folks' email inboxes on any day chosen, and they support the music team.
There are 2 cards, Angels Heard on High and Blessed Assurance. The links can be found in the description below.
I love the theme for this year's Christmas season, taking the idea of the power of simplicity of less is more and framing it as a holy pause. It centers one in the true meaning of Christmas.
And now let's take a look at our plans for the Christmas season services.
Families are invited to join us at 5 p.m. for our kid-friendly Christmas Eve service. This service will be streamed to Facebook Live, YouTube, and our website, and will feature a special 12 Points of Light candle ceremony led by our teens. Through the ceremony, you and your children will learn some of the deeper meanings of the Nativity story.
Our kid-friendly Christmas Eve service will feature a video montage of children and young at heart adults doing their Christmas happy dances for Christmas 2020. This video will be set to the opening song, Joy to the World. We need your help. We want your home recorded videos of you and your children doing a happy dance. Record yourself or your young ones doing a 10 to 30 second happy dance and email it to communications@unityhills.org by Friday, December 18th. Again, that's a happy dance to communications@unityhills.org by Friday, December the 18th.
Then at 7 p.m. Christmas Eve, join Reverend Eliza and the celebration team in a magical, interactive journey into birthing a new consciousness. As of this moment, the sanctuary is open for 25 people and you will need to RSVP. Even though this year is most unusual, we are creating a powerful, simple, and profound service for you. Of course, this service will also be presented on YouTube, Facebook Live, and our website.
On New Year's Eve, we begin early here at Unity Church of the Hills with the World Healing Day meditation, joining millions around the world at noon Greenwich Mean Time, which is 6 a.m. here in Austin. This year, the service will take place via Zoom.
You don't even have to roll out of bed if you have your phone on your nightstand.
It's early.
The traditional ceremony of the burning bowl has even deeper significance this year as we bring 2020 to a close. Staying in the theme of the holy pause, this ceremony will be filled with the power of simplicity, ritual, and ceremony.
Join Reverend Eliza and Susan Heinrichs on the front drive for a fire pit experience. The service begins at 5:30 p.m. and we'll live stream the first 30 minutes, after which you are invited to drive by the church from 6 to 7 p.m. to participate in the ritual release ceremony at our fire pit. The 30-minute service will be open for 25 in-person attendees. Join us outdoors or at home for this sacred ritual of release.
Check out our latest episode of the One Power podcast featuring a conversation with Reverend Howard Caesar. And if you haven't already listened to the interview with Dr. Roger Teal on Answering the Call, please do so. Both interviews are insightful and inspiring. All the episodes can be found on your favorite podcast player or at onepowerpodcast.com.
Say that 3 times really fast.
One Power Podcast, One Power Podcast, Power Podcast, One Power Podcast.
So I shouldn't have said it. Finally, mark your calendars for Monday night, beginning January 18th, when Reverend Eliza Bloom Robinson will be offering a prosperity class by Mary Morrissey called Prosperity Plus 3. Don't try to say that 3 times. This commitment class is an amazing way to supercharge your prosperity consciousness and be more open to greater abundance in all areas of your life. The registration for information will be coming soon.
Well, ho, 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 that's it for the announcements. May you truly find a holy pause within the days and weeks ahead. And until next week, peace and blessings.